Welcome back to DIY with KB. If you're new here, my name is Kiva and I teach people how to achieve the luxe look for less. In today's video, I'm giving you 9 new ways to elevate your rented space. Just because you rent your space, it doesn't mean you don't deserve a beautiful home. Trust me, these are going to elevate your home like no other. Before we get into today's video, please don't forget to subscribe, like this video, and check me out on Instagram. Now let's get into today's video. A lot of times in a rented space, we are yearning for additional space. We're dealing with smaller square footage, so we want to use every single piece of the wall that we can. So instead of getting a television, I want you to opt for a projector. Yes, a projector. You can get them affordably on Amazon, at Walmart, at Target, and they, can be more affordable than TVs, or they can be comparable in price. The reason I want you to get a projector is when you do want to watch television, you can project it onto one of your walls. You can get a screen, or you can just put up a sheet or something like that. And so instead of having to use up all of that space for a television, you have the opportunity to display artwork, display tapestries, display all of the things that you want in your home. TVs take away so much wall space, but this way you don't have to be worried about that. Getting a screen is really easy, and you can install it on your ceiling using thumbtacks or something like that. You can roll it up when you're not using it and roll it down when you are, so you don't have to worry about messing up your artwork or anything like that. Everything can stay the same, but you can still have the pleasure of television, but also have all of that space for your beautiful artwork. The next thing you can do to elevate your rented space is you can use the vertical space in your closet. So a lot of closets are super tall, but they only have 1 or 2 shelves in them. So it makes it really difficult to actually use all of that space. So you end up adding dressers, calyx systems, underbed storage. You're taking up much needed lounge space for storage, and that makes sense because your things need somewhere to go. But if you use that vertical space in your closet, you're going to have a lot more space left over in your room. So how do we do that? Install tension rods. You can install additional tension rods in a closet really easily, but if you add more tension rods, therefore you can use more of the vertical space and you can hang up more of your clothes. If you don't want to add more tension rods, you can also just add more shelves. Same thing, you can pick up those wire shelves really affordably at Home Depot and Lowe's. Don't be fooled. You don't have to go to the Container Store. You don't have to go to Target. They're really more affordable at your local hardware store. When you do this, again, you don't have to use your dressers, and if you're worried about height, what I do is I actually just have a step stool designated for my closet area, so I can use that step stool to get all of my clothes, and I don't have to worry about using a dresser. Something else I like to do is actually use a really long paint stick and use that to take some of the clothes down when I don't feel like getting on the step stool. It's like those little hooks they use when you're at a store and they have clothes really, really high up. So that's what you can do. It's going to really maximize the space you have in your room to actually live in instead of use for stuff. Now, everyone says this, but it needs to be said again. Another way to really elevate your home is to display your artwork. But how do you do that if you don't want to put holes in the wall? Okay, you're going to use command hooks and you're going to use thumbtacks. I know you're like, but what about a nail? Okay, if you're not hanging something that's 100 pounds, it's going to be okay. I actually really love using thumbtacks because the hole is so small. Your landlord honestly isn't even going to know that that's what it was. They're just going to think that it's just like a natural process that happened to the wall. So thumbtacks are really good. Again, if you are worried about your art being heavy, instead of buying large canvas art that has a lot of texture, go for digital prints. You're just having a single piece of paper and then you're having a frame, and so it doesn't have as much weight. I definitely want you to use those IKEA frames because since they don't have glass, they actually have acrylic. Their weight is really, really minimal, so something like a thumbtack or a command strip can hold it up really, really well. If you are worried about the command strip and being able to get it off the wall, here's a little hack for you. What I want you to do is put the command strip on, and when you're ready to take it off, get a blow dryer or something that just produces heat and blow it on the strip, and it's going to come up a lot easier instead of you just trying to rip it off without agitating it at all, because it's going to rip off part of your wall and then you're going to have to worry about spackling and leveling it out and the whole 9 yards. This is a really easy way to remedy that, but I'm telling you guys, thumbtacks are the way to go, and just really light frames. Now, if you don't want to use thumbtacks or command hooks because you're just too wary of that, what I want you to do is actually start using picture ledges. So yes, you're going to have to install one thing on the wall, but it's just going to be one thing instead of tons of different pieces of art. You're just going to have one ledge, and you can use that ledge to display decor, photographs, like family photos, artwork, really anything you want to display, you can put on those picture ledges. And it's all about how you do that orientation. You can play with the heights, you can play with the textures, you can play with the colors. picture ledges actually look really cool. They're really, really in right now, and they're super affordable. You can get them on Amazon. You can get acrylic ones, black ones, gray ones, white ones, wooden ones. They have them at IKEA. I think they have them at Target. They have them on Amazon. You can get them anywhere, and you just have to worry about installing this one thing. So if you're not going to put on something that has a ton of weight, you don't necessarily have to put in the drywall studs, which is going to really, really damage your wall. Now, if you're going to put something heavy in, I want you to put in those drywall studs because I'm really, really worried about your safety. I don't want anything to fall on you, but if you're doing light things, you can just put them in there and you're going to be okay. You can also attach these things with, again, command strips. You're just going to have to use a whole lot more, but if you're using that blow dryer trick, more than likely they're going to come off and you're not going to have to worry about it as much. This is something that I love to do for people who even can go into their walls, because picture ledges just really introduce a really nice array of artwork. And not only do I want you to layer your artwork on picture ledges, but you can layer your artwork on all of your surfaces. I've actually really gotten into layering because I'm indecisive. I like to switch things out a lot, which means I have a ton of holes in my walls. And even though I own my home, it's just not aesthetically pleasing and it's really cumbersome to cover up. So I like to layer my artwork. So the way you do this is you just lean artwork on whatever surface you have. Now, this hack has become so popular on the internet, and it's popular because it's good. So if you need some additional lighting and you don't actually want to, hardwire anything or have those like cords showing, because that's relevant too. In a renter-friendly home, you don't want all the cords, you don't want all the clutter from that. You want it to look as high-end and as built-in as possible. What you're going to do is you're going to get a sconce that has a really nice opening in the head. You don't want it to be see-through, you don't want it to be a pendant because you're going to be able to see it. But what you want to do is you want to grab a puck light and put it in there. You can secure it with E6000 or hot glue or even a command strip, and you get that light without having to hardwire anything. So you don't have the cords. It looks really aesthetically pleasing and you get the light. What I really love about the puck lights is actually that it comes with a remote, so you don't have to stick your hand in there most of the time to turn it on, and you can really change out the light. So you can do warm light, cool light, medium light. You can have different tiers if you need a little bit of mood lighting, if you need really bright, robust light, if you're reading. No matter what, you can use these, and they're just a lot more versatile because you can then put your lights anywhere you want to put them because you don't have to worry about matching it up with the electric plug. This one is an oldie but a goodie. Switch out your cabinet hardware. You can switch out your cabinet hardware, you can switch out your lighting, you can switch out your doorknobs, you can switch out your electrical plates, you can switch out just about anything that you want. Just switch it out to something that works with your theme. So if your theme is black and white, get black instead of, silver. It doesn't matter. Do whatever is going to make you happy, but you're like, well, how do I put it back? Well, the way you put it back is you take everything off, you number the baggie, and you put the things in a baggie, and you store them in one of those cabinets until it's time for you to move out. So you never misplace them, and you know where every handle goes, because sometimes you'll take things off and things just vary a little bit in measurement, and so that you don't worry into that really stressful situation when you're starting to move, just label everything. When it comes to lighting is also really easy to do. A lot of things just have a really standard plate. You switch the wires, you wrap them around the whole 9 yards. You can look up the directions, and any piece that you have, again, you're just going to take that light, fold it up really well with maybe some newspaper or some mesh to keep it really nice and protected. Put it in a closet, label it, and you're good to go. You can switch out anything that you want to do in your rented apartment. You just have to be able to fix it when it's time to leave. And so as long as you label those things and keep track of them, it's really a good way to elevate your space. Now, in many, many apartments, I know in our apartment, we had the wall-to-wall carpeting, and I felt like there was nothing I could do to escape it because it was just horrible, horrible brown color. I was like, why did you choose brown? But anyway, you had these rugs, and sometimes you feel like that's going to dictate your design. Well, what matches with brown? Does that mean I have to do industrial? Does that mean I have to do mid-century modern? Does it mean I have to do traditional? The answer is no. Don't let what that apartment looks like now dictate how it's going to look for you. Your style needs to match how you live and your personality. So the way to do that is to layer your carpets. No one ever said that you couldn't have 10 rugs in a space. You can do it. Maybe let's stick to like 2 or 3, but if you want 10, get the 10. What you want to do is you want to cover up that wall-to-wall carpeting. You want to make it act like flooring. So what you can do is you can get a larger rug, like maybe a 9x12 if you're in like a room that would suit something like that, and have it cover most of the floor and leave definitely some space on all sides so that you know that it is a rug, and then you can layer it even more. Maybe you could have an extra rug near your reading area or under your bed or something like that. You can layer rugs and add a lot of texture. Why I really like to do that, because the texture really detracts from, what the wall-to-wall carpet looks like. So it's no longer the center of focus. I also want you to make sure that those carpets that you are adding, those rugs that you're adding, are not the same color as that rug down there, because again, it's just going to be enhancing the ugly that's already there. So just switch it up and pay attention to sizing. Again, on my Pinterest, I have so many different pins on how to choose the appropriate rug size for your space. So look that up and you will be good to go. Layering rugs looks so good, and it also just helps the foam feel a lot more cozy. Sometimes when you live in an apartment, you're like, I'm only going to be here for a year. I'm only going to be here for 2 years, so it doesn't have to feel like home. It does need to feel like home because it is your home. Some people rent forever, and that's totally fine. And everyone deserves to be equally comfortable and to live in a space that represents them. So add on those textures. Think about your floor kind of like how you decorate your sofa. If you're going to put a lot of pillows and throws and stuff on there, you can add a lot of texture and color to your carpets, and it really make a huge difference. Now, I absolutely love this idea. This is actually what got me into DIYing in the first place. I never actually did it, but let me tell you about it. So Do It on a Dime has this really incredible hack where she covered her wire shelves with contact paper and poster board. Now, don't let me lose you. You're like, that doesn't look good. Guys, it looks incredible. So a lot of people have those really ugly wire shelves in their closets or in their pantries. And not only are they ugly, but a lot of things fall through. It's so annoying. You're trying to put your spices in there or your clothes, and they're just falling through the little grates, and all of that folding you did was all for naught. So what you need to do is you need to get a piece of poster board or a piece of plywood, cut it to the size of your shelf, and put it on there. You put some on the top, and then you put some on the side to really frame it out. You're going to secure it with glue, and then you can cover it with contact paper. Now, everyone is always giving like contact paper stripe. Well, do what you can with your space. Not everyone has $1 million to renovate their home. So let's do what we can and stop shaming people for having different budgets. So you're gonna get that contact paper. You can get the wooden contact paper. You can get marble. You can get whatever it is you fancy. Put it on there, and it's going to look like a more realistic shelf. I really prefer the wooden contact paper because it looks like you have wooden built-in shelves. Unless someone is coming up there and trying to feel the grain of the wood, they're not gonna know. It's just gonna make it easier for you to actually stack and organize your clothing, and it's just going to look a little bit more aesthetically pleasing and add some warmth to a closet or a pantry. Every single space in your home matters because you occupy every single space. I'm telling you, this is really going to elevate your home, and you can get the materials for this entirely from the Dollar Tree. You can get the poster board from there, you can get the contact paper from there, you can get the glue from there, and it's going to look immaculate. Last but certainly not least, one of the best ways to elevate your rental space is obviously to add some curtains. So I know a lot of people are like, well, I have those ugly blinds. You can keep the blinds up. I'm not saying you have to take them down. It can be burdensome. You don't know if you're going to get them up correctly, but you want to add those curtains. Again, when you're adding curtains, it shouldn't be at the same length as those at the same height as those blinds, because we want them to be higher, because we want our space to feel as large as humanly possible. So we want to hang them closer to the ceiling. So what you can do is you can actually get a curtain rod and get a bracket that extends further out. So it can extend far enough out so that you're not even interfering with those blinds, so you don't have to worry about them. They are irrelevant at this point, and you can actually do a double bracket. So you have a backing, which you can fill with shears, and then you can have a front one where you have more solid curtain panels, so you don't even know anything about the blinds, and you're going to be able to open the curtains and have those shears sewing through, and you can always have those blinds up because you will still have the privacy from the shears, and you'll still have that light flowing through, but you'll have something a lot more decorative. Now, if you don't want to do something like that, you can always do ceiling mounts. Those are also really cool. They can come out a little bit more, and it just kind of becomes a wall full of curtains. It looks so luxe, it looks so plush and homey and warm, and that's a really nice other way to elevate your space. What I really loved about everything in this video is you can get all of these things from really affordable places. Target, Walmart, the Dollar Tree. You don't have to break the bank to make your rental space look luxurious. I'm telling you guys, it's possible. Let me know down below if you've done any of these tips. I know that you have, and I know that they look good. Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you liked it, please don't forget to subscribe, like this video, and check me out on Instagram. Until next time, have a beautiful day.